What's up YouTube? It's Ben, and in this video, we're going to talk about how do you start a recruiting agency when you work a full-time job. So let's say that you work the average American work week, which is 40 hours per week of actual work. Total commute hours per week is about 10. You end up sleeping about 56 hours per week, and you set around 10 hours for workout or chill time. With that schedule right there, which is pretty much the typical working American schedule, that leaves you still 52 hours every single week to recruit on the side. Now, this is totally what I would consider part-time side hustle recruiting, 52 hours a week that you have to be able to do this. Now, about 85% of the students in my private mentorship program are working a 9-to-5 full-time job, and they're still being really successful while they're doing that. So first things first, I really just want to completely dispel the myth that if you work a job, you can't start a recruiting agency on the side, or that you can't start any business on the side. Pretty much everyone has to start from somewhere. Usually everyone's working a 9-to-5. I know that's my personal story, so I'm speaking directly from experience working a 9-to-5, but also building the recruiting agency on the side at the same time. Pretty much what I'm saying is that you have no excuse. But I'm also saying I do understand that it's not as easy as if you have no job and you have 100% free time to do whatever you want, which means that you have 100% free time to devote to the recruiting agency. So let me tell you just a few steps that I took to make my agency successful when I started it while I was working a full-time job. One of the first things I did is I took an audit, like I just laid out to you, of hours. I took an audit of hours that I was busy, of things I had to do, places I had to be, times that I had to work, and then times that I had absolutely free, times that I had the decision to make what I wanted to do or what I didn't want to do. Once I figured out exactly what those times were that were free for me, I realized that I could fill all of that time with recruiting agency stuff. I'm talking about sourcing, I'm talking about client meetings, I'm talking about checking emails, I'm talking about doing all of the business of recruiting on the side to get things going. Now, once I realized how much actual free time I had that I could devote towards building the recruiting agency, I put about 40 hours of time every single week into building my recruiting agency. Another thing I want to address is that, is this normal? No, it's not normal. It's not going to be your typical week. It's not going to be standard, right? You're doing something bigger and better to be at a better place later on or really soon, right? You're not doing something that's going to be a normal week. You don't come from home from work, relax, sit down, turn the TV on, and just chill the whole night, right? Maybe you relax for an hour, but then you get on your emails and you start pounding out a ton of cold email. Maybe you use your lunch hour at work instead of just for lunch, but maybe you're actually sending out a bunch of email and taking client calls at the same time. Perhaps you're even using your work breaks for interviewing candidates. Yes, I've totally done it. So that leads me directly to what I want to talk about next, which is sacrifice, because this does not come without sacrifice. There is always a cost for just about anything that you do. And if you want ultimate success, there is a cost to pay for that. And that cost is called sacrifice. I'm not asking anyone out there to go miss their kids' school sports or miss their kids' school play or break up with your significant other or anything like that to make this work. You don't have to do any of that, right? But I am talking about sacrificing certain times that you would do nothing with time that you would do extremely productive things towards building your business. Ultimately, after working with over 1,000 students, it's clear as day to me who's going to win and who's not going to win. It's who prioritizes their action in their business and who does not. Oftentimes when I was building my recruiting agency while working my 9-to-5 job, I would be up until 1 in the morning sending out cold email. Those cold emails were scheduled. They would go right out. I would go to sleep. I'd wake up and go to work. I would handle anything else I needed at work. I would spend my lunch break handling client calls, signing off on contracts. I'd bring my laptop to work, connect to Wi-Fi through my phone. I would do whatever it took, right? I would utilize that mentality of I need to do whatever it takes to get this thing off the ground. And that's all you have to do. It's just a little bit of push from behind, right? Where you really need to say to yourself, do I want to be in this corporate environment anymore, or do I want to work myself out of it? Yes, there is a little bit of a climb there. So with that being said, I want everyone to understand that it's not exactly easy. You know, it's not simple. You can't just turn on a light switch and say, well, I'm going to start doing some work, while I have a 9-to-5 right now. No, it takes planning, right? So you've got to understand what you're going to be doing. As I laid out before, you have around 52 hours per week if you truly want to devote that time to recruitment. With those 52 hours, you need to divide out what you're going to do and when you're going to do it. My personal recommendation to you from experience is to do a lot of work on weekends. Weekends are a great time for you to get ahead of the game in your recruiting agency. Like I said, your week is not going to be a traditional week, but your weekend can be a traditional weekend if you choose to spend time working on your agency, working on your business, rather than going out with friends, rather than just binge watching Netflix, rather than just sitting around. Doing things on your business is going to be way more productive for you and get you way more ahead of the game so that you can quit your 9-to-5 earlier than you even expected. Not that you should be quitting or planning on quitting until you have proof of concept and income. Reference one of my other videos about when to quit your job. But with that being said, you can get closer to that point if you leverage your time, especially your weekends. During the week, like I mentioned before in this video, it's going to be all about how you leverage your time throughout the day, during the day, when you have those minuscule breaks, when you have those miniature time periods where you can do things, where you can accomplish busting out 5 or 10 emails or responding to somebody's inquiry or doing whatever you need to do, but then also utilizing your nights. I get it. As soon as you get home from work, I realize that you need to eat, you need to relax, you need to chill out, you need to decompress from what you were doing previously. We're not trying to go crazy here, right? But once you do those things, I would say flip open the laptop and hop onto your work, right? Start sending out cold email blasts, set up scheduled campaigns, respond to anybody that inquired with you, utilize automation tools on LinkedIn, right? Set things up so that they move for you, with you, so that you can get your agency off the ground pretty easily without doing a whole ton of work, but just spreading out your time and leveraging things to make it work in your favor. To be really honest and frank with you, I think it's just a matter of whether or not you actually want it or not. I think it's how bad you actually want it. That's what I think. I think a lot of people say, well, I could always start that or I could do that. But when it comes down to the wire, it's whether or not you're actually going to spend your Saturday sending out 250 cold emails to people, or if you're going to chill out and get bored after email number 10 and stop and say, yeah, I'll do that Sunday. And then you'll never do it Sunday. We both know that. So do you really want it, and how bad do you want it? Totally not trying to be over dramatic about how this should look if you're working a full-time job, but I do want to be dramatic about the point that you really need to put in the work. You really need to want it that bad to be able to get out of the 9-to-5 while you're building this recruiting agency, while you have a 9-to-5. I can tell you that I've done it. I've taught plenty of students that have done it, working themselves right out of the 9-to-5, straight into 100% recruiting, and that's the way to go. That's how you want to do it if you really want it bad enough. If you have any questions specifically about how I built my recruiting agency while running a 9-to-5 job, drop them down in the comments below. I would love to answer any of your questions to help you out. I know a lot of people feel stuck. I know a lot of people feel like they're in a rut. They really don't know what to do when they're working a 9-to-5, but they want to start a business. They feel like it's impossible, which it's not. That's the one thing you need to understand. It's totally not. So please drop me a comment down below. Let me know your question. Let me know what you're looking at, your situation, or anything like that. And I can respond, hopefully help you out, hopefully set you on the right pathway. And I would love to do that for you. All right, guys, if you found value in this video, please smash that like button, subscribe if you're not a subscriber already, and hit that bell alert button so that you know every single time I come out with a brand new video. Until then.